Hello guys and welcome to the Model Railway series. Now this series is going to be pretty much me showing off my HO and 00 scale model railways and hopefully serving as an inspiration to actually get on and do something with them. Because you see, I have 3 of them and none of them are working. None of them are complete even and capable of working. And as the accompanying pictures will show, they need a lot of work. So anyway, I'll introduce this first one that you can see on screen, which is Friday Bridge, and it was part of the Operation Shunt It competition that was launched by Scale Model Scenery and closed almost a year ago. I say almost a year. No, I think it was in March that it finished. So it ran from November to March, either February or March. But anyway, the point is, I ordered the boards. I had all the enthusiasm. I made the track plan, which I will show you next. And that's as far as it got. Enthusiasm, time, and everything just went out the window. Christmas came around, and I just went, ugh, and didn't do any more. So this is the track plan as it stands and as it will hopefully be. So I printed this out, made it on SCARM, printed it out so I could work out what track I needed, and yeah, just lay it down and go for it. Now the idea was that I would have my own rod operated points, so I could pull a lever and the points would switch. And you could probably see it in the previous shot. It looks a bit janky, but it worked. And I say worked because when I got this all out and started taking the picture, I was playing around with it, flicking it back and forth and everything. Brilliant. Then suddenly, the little micro switch that is in the base of it has seized. I don't know why it suddenly seized, but it has. So I'm going to have to dismantle that switch. Thankfully, it's just a bit of CA glue, so I should be able to dismantle it, get another switch because I brought, I think 10 were in a pack, and I can reassemble it. Now, the reason I use that switch is the idea was to set this up, wire it, ready for DCC if I ever use DCC, which will come to DCC in a short while because I've got a whole other story with that. But yeah, the idea was you could pull this lever, it would flick this switch, and the little contacts on the bottom of this switch here would change the polarity so the point would all work. And as you can see, there's little holes here, 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 and here. And just at the end of this blue pad and there for various track feeds. And the idea of the blue pad was it would give a flat surface along the whole of the board so you can't see all these horrible joints and so on and so forth. And it gives us a base for the scenery and also hides this little wire for our improvised point mechanism. And as you can see, there should be another separate point that goes here, and that's what this hole is here for, mounting the second point in, the second mechanism in there. I haven't built the second mechanism yet, and I did find a Caboose Industries point throw that I didn't realise I had, so I may just use that for now. Forego all the extra wiring to make them work and just use the point blades for electrical conductivity. Anyway, on to the third slide now, which shows you how the model railway normally lives and how it was when I first got it out. So you can see there's a box in here with some woodland scenic trees in, one of which is going to go here and block the exit off the board that you could see in the first shot. You can see the track plan kind of screwed up, thrown in there, and you can see some track in there. And this bubble wrap has some actual models in it. Not for this model railway, but they're in there for a model railway, which we'll get to very shortly. So yeah, that in a nutshell is Friday Bridge. It's probably the one I'm going to work on first, if I'm honest, and get running. Because if you look back through the channel, you'll see I've got a J70 tram loco, which was purchased especially to run on this layout. And I also have the accompanying Wisbeach and Upwell coaches to go with it. So yeah, that's that one. And I think we've got a couple of other slides here. Yeah, so this one shows you a bit more of a close-up of the holes drilled, and this final one gives you a close-up of the point mechanism. As I say, it's very crude. It was a prototype and it worked. And crucially, yes, I could go and buy a Caboose Hobbies or Caboose Industries one, but getting stuff shipped from America is very hard at the moment and is getting rather pricey. And we don't have anything like it that I can find in the UK. But if I can't get this switch to work and I can't find the other ones, then it'll be all irrelevant anyway. So, moving on to layout 2. And this is Gantsville, which at first glance, you'd think, oh, should be working. I mean, we've got some track there, we've got some scenery there. Not completed scenery. As you can see, there's been some, I don't know whether it's water damage or what it is on the road surface, so that needs cleaning up. And as you will see in another shot, there is quite a lot of dirt and dust around because this has been stored on top of a wardrobe since I moved to this property. And it was stored somewhere else before I moved here. So I moved here in March last year, which was another excuse for me not finishing the previous layout. Because I was like, well, you know, I was moving, so I couldn't build model railways and move. Well, technically no, but I should have had it finished before then. So this is an overhead view, as you can see. But scenery along the back. And it is an Inglenook shunting puzzle. And I believe the roadway, I will have to check, is positioned at the right point for the shunt limit for the Inglenook. As I'm looking at this length from the road to the first point, I'm now questioning that, because that's certainly less than either of the sidings, but I'm not sure on that. The beige colour you can see is supposed to be a gravel roadway, and the cutout is supposed to have a building there. And It's very, very loosely based on Taylorsville in North Carolina. And this is my HO shunting layout. If we have a closer look though, you can see one of the reasons it's not operational. The Caboose Industry throws that I did have for this have both gone walkabouts. I don't know where and I don't know when. I need to either find them or order some new ones. Now I'm guessing even if I were to buy 4, that's not too bad. That covers 2 layouts. And I just need to sort the wiring out because some wires have been pulled off underneath and so on and so forth. So that's why this one isn't up and running at the moment. Technically, this might actually be the quicker one to get working. So we'll see. It's a toss-up between the two. Now we move to the heartbreaking one though. And this is spaced over 2 boards. And this one is called Budget Brook. And essentially the backboard attaches from the right to the left-hand side of the front board and was essentially a single track line coming in with a river over bridge and a road going along the back. No, a road going over the front, sorry. The road coming, the rail coming towards the back, the road at the front. Couple of storage sidings here. It's a crossover that went into a runaround loop, which had fed back to the rear track. And then there was a shunt which fed over to the left-hand board again and gave a couple of sidings, one of which fed back into the frontmost siding on the right-hand board. Now, in theory, it worked. I even went so far as to build it in trains, I believe. I had to play around with. So, laid out all the track to the scale that I have here and had to play around. Unfortunately, as you can see, there's 3 points been stolen, shall we say, or borrowed. I don't know where all 3 are. I know 2 of them are now on Gantsville. Where the 3rd one went, I'm not sure. But as you can see, it's in a very poor state. It was stored on its end for a long time, which led to damage. And yeah, it's just overall the idea between the blue wires, or what looks like blue wires sticking out the front, they were actually straws and there was a wire running inside, and that was the point mechanism. However, it's just in such a poor state. Realistically, I think all the track's going to be pulled from this one. See what I can reuse. Certainly the boards can be reused. I can just resurface the top of them. And realistically, that's a scrap layout. But I had honest intentions and good plans for it. So anyway, that is the 3 layouts that I have, all of which do not work. And we move on now to the advertising portion of this video. Yes, advertising. Something I don't do very often, but if you've made it this far, please don't switch off, because I kind of need to say this, even if you cannot help and that is the fact that I do have a Patreon, and further videos for this series are going to be posted there first. Now, that doesn't mean that they're never coming to YouTube, because they are. Whether it's a week later or the following month, I'm not sure how it's going to work. It all depends how quickly I put these videos out and how quickly I can come up with content for them, essentially. So we're going to scrap one layout. I won't show that. It's just going to be a rip everything off the board, salvage what I can jobby. The other two layouts are going to become functional layouts, and the next video that I post will be probably showing off all the rolling stock I own currently. Because, you know, gotta have trains on a model railway. And yeah, the reason I'm going to post the videos to Patreon first is I don't have any supporters on there yet, but I want to be able to give something back if people are in a position to support me. There's no financial obligation to do so. It's just if you can. You know, cost of electric is going up, so that is not a concern for me at the moment, but it is something I'm having to be very aware of with making all these videos. Is PC likes electric. Who knew? And yeah, there's some upgrades I could ideally do with making to the PC. There are some rolling stock items that are on order that are going to need paying for. I've paid a deposit, but the rest of it's going to need paying for. I do have kind of the money for them, but if I can generate some cash, that's what it will go towards. So if you can support me, it would be brilliant. And videos on the Model Railway series are just my way of thanking you, letting you have early access to them. So, advertising portion over with the video. Let's talk about what we're going to be doing. As I say, I need to do a video on the rolling stock I own. Most of it is DC, but as alluded to earlier in the video, I was looking at setting up Friday Bridge for DCC operation as well, because to that end I have two Bachmann Junior locos at the moment that are DCC fitted, and I don't have a controller yet to use. I've ordered one off eBay. There seems to be some kind of issue with the delivery of that. I'm hoping that will be sorted soon. If it's permanently gone AWOL, I should be able to get my money back within the next few days, and then I'll got another in my watch list. I'll order it, and we'll have a DCC controller to play with. So, as part of that next video with the model railway locos and rolling stock, you know, I can hopefully show that off. Other things to come is I can talk about what my intentions are for the rolling stock. What will we keep? What can I realistically get away with selling? What has no value whatsoever, but it's no use to us as models, but has uses for practicing weathering, repainting, all that good stuff. Because I've got some locos that need repainting and I don't want to jump in deep end there. I do have an airbrush that I want to start using. So, you know, cheap throwaway models, shall we say, are ideal for that. They won't be throwaway as such because it's just not in me to be that wasteful. So what I'd likely do is spray them. Then if they don't come out how I'd like, we can just strip them down and redo them. You know? So there's all that good stuff to come. There's the building of these model railways, getting them operational, doing the scenery, As you've seen, one is at the very beginning stages. Another has some scenery but needs a lot of work to improve it. We've got a Gauge Master / Knock static grass puffer bottle. Not as good as a full-on static grass machine, but you know, it'll do. We'll have a trial of that, see how that goes. Anyway, yeah. So all good, exciting stuff coming up. Hopefully you're excited for this series progressing, and yeah, let's get rid of this ugly shot on screen now by saying that is it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for sticking with me and watching to the end if you have, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.